The science of hadith criticism, Mustalah al-Hadith, is one of the most rigorous and sophisticated disciplines in Islamic scholarship. For a hadith, a report containing the sayings, actions, or approvals of the Prophet Muhammad, to be accepted as authentic, sahih, it must meet a set of strict criteria. The scholars developed a systematic method to verify the authenticity of these reports, focusing on two main components: the chain of narration, isnad, and the text, matan. Here are the detailed criteria for a hadith to be classified as sahih, authentic, the two foundational components. The chain of narration, isnad, the list of people who transmitted the hadith from the Prophet to the final compiler. The text, matan, the actual content and meaning of the hadith itself. Criteria related to the chain of narration, isnad. The chain must be 1. Connected, ittisal. The chain must be unbroken from the final narrator all the way back to the Prophet. Every single narrator in the chain must have met or directly heard from the person they are narrating from, been of an age and capacity to understand and transmit the report, i.e., they weren't a young child at the time, explicitly stated that they heard it from their teacher, e.g., saying, "I heard from," or "so and so told us." If there is a break in the chain, example, two narrators who lived in the same city but there's no proof they ever met, the hadith is considered weak, mawquf, maktu, or mursal depending on the break. 2. Integrity of narrators, adalah. Every narrator in the chain must be a person of good moral character and a practicing Muslim. This means they were known for uprightness, fulfilling religious obligations and avoiding major sins. Truthfulness, being known as a reliable and honest person in their community. Moral integrity, avoiding minor sins that would damage their reputation for piety. 3. Precision of narrators, dibat. Every narrator must have a strong memory and be precise in their transmission. This is of two types: dibat al-sadar, precision of memory. The narrator must have accurately memorized the hadith and preserved it without error. Dibat al-kitab, precision of written record. If they relied on books, they must have preserved their manuscripts accurately and transmitted from them correctly. A narrator with a poor or failing memory would be deemed unreliable. 4. Freedom from hidden defects, illa. The chain must be free from a hidden defect that could undermine its authenticity, even if it appears sound on the surface. This is a highly advanced level of criticism where a master scholar might discover a subtle flaw, such as the hadith being reported by a strong narrator, but a more reliable and consistent narrator reports a contradictory version. A discrepancy in the date or location that makes the transmission impossible. 5. Freedom from anomaly, shad. The narration should not contradict the report of a narrator who is more reliable. If a trustworthy narrator says A, but a less reliable narrator says B, in contradiction, the latter's report is considered anomalous and rejected. Criteria related to the text, matan. While a sound chain is a primary condition, the text itself is also scrutinized. It must not contradict the Quran. It cannot contradict a clear, established text from the Quran. Example, a hadith saying, "A child inherits from his parents," would be rejected because the Quran specifies the fixed shares of inheritance. Established principles of the Sunnah. It cannot contradict a more widely transmitted and authentic hadith on the same subject. Reason and historical fact. The content must be rationally acceptable and not contradict established historical facts. Example, a hadith giving detailed descriptions of events in 18th century America would be rejected as anachronistic. The Arabic language. The wording must be consistent with classical Arabic grammar and style of the Prophet's era. A text filled with grammatical errors or modern slang would be suspect. The final classification, Sahih, authentic. If a hadith fulfills all 5 conditions of the chain, connected, integrity, precision, no defects, no anomaly, and its text is sound, it is classified as Sahih, authentic. This category is sometimes divided into Sahih li dhatihi, authentic by itself, it meets all conditions to the highest degree. Sahih li ghairihi, authentic due to external support, a slightly weaker, Hasan, hadith is elevated to Sahih because it is supported by other chains of narration. Other classifications, for context. If a hadith fails to meet all these criteria, it falls into other categories. Hasan, good, similar to Sahih, but one or more narrators have a slightly weaker level of precision, dabt. It is still acceptable as a proof in law. Da'if, weak, it fails to meet one or more of the criteria, e.g., a broken chain, an unreliable narrator. It is not accepted as a proof in matters of belief or law. Mawdu, fabricated, a forged hadith, invented and falsely attributed to the Prophet. Narrating it with the intent to deceive is a major sin. To conclude, this meticulous science was developed by Muslim scholars, such as Imam al-Bukhari, Imam Muslim, and others, out of a profound sense of responsibility to protect the purity of the Prophet's legacy from forgery and inaccuracy. The result is a vast body of literature that has been critically sifted, allowing Muslims to have a high degree of confidence about what can reliably be attributed to their Prophet.